Noxcrew. How's it going, guys? It's Avondale here again, and welcome back to another episode of the Lobster Helpers. I'm here with actually as a lobster guy, but before we talk to him, I want to just thank you guys for the overwhelming response that I got when I asked for some ideas to make some lobster helpers. I record these videos a little bit ahead of time, so I actually didn't get a chance to say thanks before I had recorded the last video, so I wanted to make sure I did it now. You guys came up with a lot of really good ideas, and today's lobster is actually one of those ideas. But before we get to that, we're over at actually as a lobster guy's house right now because he's been growing some crops and he wants to deliver them to Chef Guy, but he can't bring them over there. So I was trying to come up with a way that we could actually deliver the things to him, and yeah, he's with me right now. So this is Chester Guy, and he's got his chest here, and we've already loaded up some stuff to bring over to Chef Guy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just grab a couple more of these things here. And oh, Chester Guy is following me. There we go. Alright, so we'll put the potatoes in there. See you later. Now let's walk. Come on, Chester Guy, grab that, would you? There we go. Alright, so Chester Guy grabbed the chest. He's following me right along. Is everything shipping in there okay? Yeah, it still looks good. Alright, come on. So Chester Guy and I are gonna walk over to the restaurant and we'll meet up with you guys over there. Okay, just a few more steps, we're almost there. Chef Guy's outside waiting for us. Looks like he has his own chest to receive the shipment. Come on, right over here. Alright, plunk that down, that's good. Okay, so we'll grab some of this stuff out of here. Let's see. There we go, and we will deliver it. Alright. Hey, thanks for your help. So yeah, now Chef Guy has the stuff, and we have Chester Guy, who is based off from a comment that I got, and I will show you how he works right now. So as I said, Chester Guy was suggested to me by one of my viewers, and I'm gonna screw up your name so bad, so I'm just gonna put it up on screen here. He suggested Chester Lobster, and it sounded familiar, but I actually had to look it up because I didn't know what it was. I had to ask a couple people, and they said, "Isn't that the thing from Don't Starve?" And yeah, sure enough it is. I didn't actually get to play the game. I watched maybe half an episode of somebody's Let's Play, I don't know. But it sounded like a great idea for a lobster, you know, a guy who follows you around with an inventory, and the inventory live updates to what you want to put in it. It's something that you can already do with an ender chest, obviously, but I mean, the point of the lobsters really isn't to, you know, do things that you can already do in the game. It's to create new things that people haven't tried before. So, Chester Guy was a pretty interesting one. It actually ended up being pretty simple to figure it out, and it works based off right here. We have a master chest, and there's just a couple of different pieces to it. It's actually really compact, and I could have made it a lot smaller, and I probably will make it smaller before I release this. The way that he works is pretty simple. There's a execute command right here that's executing on his zombie. Yeah, he's following a zombie. And we're using the still count objective again. The still count is just based off from how long he's standing next to you. And so when it reaches 25, which is a little over a second, it's going to set a redstone block over here. Now, when it sets this redstone block over here, it's going to clone this master chest from up here into a location beside him. And it's going to pick one of 4 locations based on an objective called facing. So if we do scoreboard objective set display sidebar facing, you can see, if we remove some of these, players, reset, star, there we go. So now the only one who's left on the screen is the current Chester Guy, and he's facing in direction 4 right now. So if we go ahead, we'll just go into survival mode here with our book. He's going to start picking us up here in a second. You can see when he's facing this way, it's direction 3. Over here is direction 1. This way it'll be direction 4, and then up this way it'll be direction 2. There we go. So if you haven't seen how this works before, we'll take a look. I think it's right here, yep. So inside the player selectors, you can test for RY and RYM. So this is your Y rotation and your minimum Y rotation. So you're essentially checking a zone here. in your selector. So to figure out the numbers you need for that, you can actually look at your F3 menu, and if you look right above my cursor here, the part that's on the red block right now, the red clay block, where it says, you know, minus 179 and then negative 23 or whatever it's at. So those are your rotations about the y-axis, so horizontally looking around, and then vertically is the second number. So to determine these facing directions, I just did 45 degrees off each axis, so you're looking right in between two axes. And so, you know, when you're looking from here to here, it's one direction, here to here is the next direction, and so on until there's 4 separate directions that he can be in, and you can see here that there's different facing scores for each of those. So let's get that off my screen for a second. So right, it's checking for that. It always knows which direction he's facing. And then it's anytime he counts, anytime he stops rather, we want to be in this one, it's counting up his still count objective until it gets to 25. So when he's been still for just over a second to make sure that he knows you want him to put the chest down, he's going to place a redstone block over here on this diamond block. So if we get close to him, we can see, boom, redstone block. You go away from him, it turns back to air. So we'll get close again, boom. Now, that redstone block is running 4 command blocks, and these command blocks are different based on the direction that he's facing. So you have your facing score of 1, facing 2, facing 3, and so on. And what that's doing is it's taking this block right here, you know, so those are the same coordinates, which is the master chest up here, and it's cloning it to a spot relative to him by 2 blocks. So depending on the direction he's facing, it'll put the chest there. Minecraft keeps turning my Lobster guys into Steve guys. They're not Steve guys, they're Lobster guys. I think they turned me into a Steve guy too. Yeah. I've tried re-recording this a few times already, and at this point I'm just fed up, so sorry. We're doing Steve guys for the rest of the episode. Right. So it clones that in, and now once that is there, the fill clock over here is trying to do something else based on your facing score. So when you're facing 1 with a still count score of at least 30, just to make sure that the game's had time to register that the block is placed there, it's trying to clone that block based on the direction you're facing, so it clones the exact block where it put the chest back to the master chest. So right now the master chest looks like this. And now to prove that it's getting cloned back again, we can go close to it, and you'll watch every time I try to get in this, it spits me out. That's because it's replacing it with a new chest. So I can just get in here real quick if I break that block, and I can put some trap chests in there. I can stick some more of these, and then we look up here once we get away, and you can see that the inventory live updated. So yeah, I mean, is Chester guy really necessary to do as a lobster guy? I don't know, because you have an ender chest. However, the lobster guys aren't really about, you know, just using a basic mechanic that's in Minecraft and just doing a thing. It's about exploring some technology and figuring out how to do things a little differently so they seem a little bit more interactive. And I think Chester guy really accomplished that because he gives you a mobile inventory that you can walk around with you, which is pretty nice to have. So yeah, thanks again guys for all the great ideas. I'm planning on using a couple more of them, so stay tuned and we'll see if yours gets chosen. Until next time, I've been Avondale. Thanks for watching.